Have you ever wondered what successful people do? You know, whether it's an entrepreneur, an athlete, the military, like special forces, all these types of people, they seem to have that competitive edge, don't they? Like whatever it is that they do, you know, and it's not, you know, there's no secret to this, but there is a formula. Don't go anywhere, I'm going to share that with you. I'm going to do a deep dive into the previous video that I did, which was a short introduction on how to increase your skills in any area, fitness, business, money, it could be anything, how to increase that and get that edge against your competitors, but more importantly about yourself, to turn making you into more of an awesome guy so you can move forward in life and crush everything with, you know, these mindset hacks. Before I dive in, I want you to dive down below, hit that subscribe button, click the like, and obviously throughout this, if you've got any questions, any comments, launch them below. I am going to look at them. If there's tons, then I'll pick out, you know, as many as I can, and I'll get back to you on answering them as well. Let's dive in then. How do I, you know, Glenn, go out there and increase, you know, my fitness level, whether it's in bodybuilding, whether it's running, or not so much just fitness as well, but what about business? What about, you know, making money? Obviously it takes work, like anything, it takes effort, but the process is pretty simple, and that's what I'm going to try and get across with you today. And all that, you know, my aim there is for it to help you in your life, you know, maybe change a couple of beliefs, give you something to think about. Maybe, you know, you need to watch this a couple of times, take some notes, whatever you need to do to really sort of develop your skills, whether it's at work, in any area. Okay, let's dive into that then. So the first thing then is, I can't put enough emphasis on when you're trying to look at an area that you're trying to improve. You know, so let's say you work in sales and you're a salesperson, you know, or you work in high ticket sales, you're a closer, an enrollment specialist, whatever the term is that you give yourself. And you really want to make some improvements in that, sharpen your blade, as the saying goes, and make some improvements there. Well, really, you have to have that vision in mind. But the point of that is, you can't do the big outcome straight away. Obviously, you can't. It goes back to goal setting. I'm going to cover goal setting in another video later down the line. So don't forget to subscribe so you can and set the alert button so you can get your pause on that one when it comes out. Now, when I was in the military, I was in the army for 23 years, shooting up the ranks, etc. And I always, you know, in the military especially, you've got competition, you have, you know, and I always used to compete against other people. And this is a belief that I had that changed only in the sort of last handful of years that I want to share with you. And somebody said to me, or I might have read it, I can't remember because I read tons and tons of books and obviously put things into practice, that your biggest competition is yourself. You are your biggest competition. And I thought, no, that's rubbish. I've got Joe at work, I've got Pete, I've got X, Y, Z. I'm in competition with them because they might get sergeant before me, or warrant officer, or, you know, win a competition because at CrossFit, whatever. And actually, even though we have to look left and right, you know, when we're trying to get ahead of people in competitions and things, then it is yourself, because ultimately the biggest battle, the biggest competition is you. And that's the first thing that you need to bear in mind, really. Once you've got that, then you can focus on that big goal, that big vision. Right, I want to make X amount of money. I want to, you know, I'm a startup entrepreneur. I'm an athlete, whatever. And breaking it down and going, right, what do I need to focus on? My first video really touched on it, about the story about the marksman, the sniper on the ranges when he was training and firing his shot. And he would focus on that one area until he got it pretty much mastered, you know, really focused on it until he got mastery around that one area, and then move on to the next bit. And that's really, really key, you know, because otherwise we end up becoming jack of all trades, master of none. You've probably heard that saying. And it is true as well when you think about it. You don't get me wrong, you can get really good. You can get, you know, damn good at something if you just like focus on lots of different stuff. But you're never really going to become like a Jedi master. You're not going to become like this black belt, enrollment coach, you know, salesman or entrepreneur or whatever, until you start drilling down with laser focus into specific areas. It really is the specifics that you need to drill down into. Okay, with that in mind then, the first thing, that you can only do so much yourself. That's the other thing to consider. So you are, you know, I think Dwayne Johnson said it, that, you know, you're not an island. A man is not an island. You need other people. You need other things around you to bring you up. And look at The Rock, you know, he's awesome. And he's like, he wouldn't have got the body he's got in the film Black Adam if it hadn't been for all these people around him, coaches, etc. So you need people, whether that's, a mentor or mentors, clearly coming on like social media and drilling down into like YouTube and other social media platforms, etc., to drill it, to drill down and get the information that you need to increase that 1%. So specific area. Happy with that? If you feel that you kind of hit a wall with something, then my advice is go and get expert help, and don't shortcut that either. Don't skivvy on it or just buy a book, an ebook, that'll sort me out. Depends what level you're trying to get at. Books are great, but they'll only get you to a certain level. Information's great, but again, it'll only get you to a certain level. And depending on what job you're in, what business you're in, if you're an entrepreneur or a serial entrepreneur, or you got all this stuff, you're going to need people around you. You're going to need expert help, from the best, and that's the key thing to get across. The special forces, whether it's the US Navy SEALs or UK SAS, etc., they get trained by the best. And if it works for them, and if it works for like Michael Jordan, getting the best coaches, the best help, then success leaves clues. So that's pretty much telling us something. So bear that one in mind as well when you're trying to improve your skill set. Now, that's all well and good at the moment. You're thinking, yeah, all right, I've heard this 1,000 times, Glenn. That's cool. I need help. Potentially I need to get a mentor. I need to watch tons of YouTube videos and whatever, and obviously put the stuff into practice to increase whatever it is that I'm after. But here lies a big problem with the majority of guys that are trying to do this, or anyone. It's that mindset shift. And really that's the thing, is a lot of people out there, they don't have the tenacity, they don't have the grit to get out there and really, really focus and really try hard in a specific area so they get to the point where they're like, yes, I'm smashing it. We look at the likes of Arnold Schwarzenegger when he came from Austria. He was a big guy anyway because he trained out there. And then when he was smashing all the competitions, you can watch your videos on him. He would look at his body for symmetry, and he'd be like, right, I need to do my bicep. My biceps need to be bigger, and you focus on them. That's the 1%. So he's focusing on that bicep. The bicep, they get big enough, they get strong enough. Next body part, thighs could do with a bit of work. So he starts smashing the squats. You get the point. So he's focusing on specific areas to create that overall symmetry. And arguably Arnold Schwarzenegger, is a living legend, isn't he? So that's just one example in the bodybuilding realm of working on specific areas to get better overall, if that makes sense. Another one is, it's always be learning and practicing your skill, whether whatever it is that you're doing, whether you're a writer, a football player, you're in the military yourselves like I used to be, you're in whatever, you're always constantly learning and practicing. You're never ever resting on your laurels, or you're like, yep, I'm good, I know everything. Nobody knows everything. You know what I mean? Yeah, we're always learning. Every day is a school day, so we're just constantly learning and drawing out information that's relevant to what we need to be doing. Always good at the end of each day to reflect, look back on the day. What have I learned today? In the area that I was trying to develop, like we mentioned in the previous video about the sniper on the range with his trigger operation and holding his weapon and all these bits and pieces, is then reflecting back on that and thinking, right, did I focus today on, whatever? If I'm a runner, did I go for a run? Did I hit a PB? If that was my goal, yeah, I did. Okay, cool. How was that marginally better than last time? What's the difference? If I'm trying to lose weight and trying to maybe drop some body fat, am I checking that? Am I using skin calipers or whatever? And has there been an improvement, a weekly improvement? Probably shouldn't do it every day. A weekly improvement. Yes, there is. So you're always recording it and reflecting back. That's key. Because otherwise, you're just like drifting around, and you're not really... And the human brain, you know what it's like. Life gets in the way. Social media's crazy. All this stuff's going on. And before you know it, you're off track. So you've got to record things and reflect. That's the key thing with anything. When you're trying to improve a skill, crush a goal, and you broke it down into them chunks, it's constantly like, when you're sharpening the blade, is always look back and go, right. Don't leave it too long. Don't leave it like... It's always good to do monthly reviews, obviously, but if you're working on something each day, reflect back each day. Did I do that and that and that? Okay. The last thing then, just to put that into perspective, you've got to look at likes of Michael Jordan. Most of you know Michael Jordan is the best basketball player that's ever lived, in my opinion. LeBron's getting there, he's up there as well, but Michael Jordan, phenomenal. Made his stamp not just in basketball, but with the Air Jordan franchise, trainers, you name it. He's done all sorts, and the guy's, I think he's a billionaire. But when he was doing basketball, he didn't start off as this super amazing billionaire basketball player, Air Jordan, And do you know what? It's like constantly training every single day at every different angle, the 1%. So he'd focus on maybe, you know, bouncing the ball. He'd then focus on taking shots, his jump. He broke it all down, you know, and obviously he had experts around him, coaches, you know, a mentor, etc. So he had all these people, but he was honing, sharpening his blade in specific areas. And you've got to think, guys, if you start having that mindset of doing this with, and you put that into anything, you could be putting it into practice with your children as a dad, you know, being the best dad, you could be, as a husband, you know, a partner, a best friend, you know, you name it, the list is literally endless. It's that mindset shifting, going, right, have I been the best at such and such today? Daily reflection. Yeah, I did quite well there and I did quite well here, but I could maybe work on this, work on that. Okay, that's no dramas. Don't beat yourself up. Let's just carry that forward to the next day and then work on the bits that you picked yourself up for and go, right, tomorrow I'm going to do such and such. Like, you know, triceps need work. If I'm bodybuilding, I'm going to go in the gym. I want to smash my triceps tomorrow and I'm going to do X, Y, and Z to improve that one area and just keep doing it. And the thing is, right, if you increase 1% just every day, and that's not hard, in any given area, if you increase 1% every day, 365% improvement over a year, versus a guy that's kind of just drifting around, watching Netflix, binge watching TV. Not that that's a drama, by the way, you know, people can do what they want, but you know, for somebody that's trying to be successful, to kind of just sit around on the couch singing Kumbaya and eating donuts, it's not going to work. But it's that mindset shifting, going, right, I'm going to focus on this and I'm going to do that. And you know, don't get me wrong, you can have your off days where, you know, we all like to chill out and have a drink or a pizza or whatever and not think about, you know, what we're talking about now. And that's all good. That's all good. You know, rest and recuperation's key. But imagine then, so 365, you know, some days you might increase 2%, 3%, which is not hard. You know, depending on what skill that you're trying to develop and on what performance you're putting into that. So in a year, really, you know, you could be increasing 400-500% versus somebody else that's increased 0%. Do you know what I mean? Now you imagine like 2, 3, 4 years down the line, and remember, some things in life, like YouTube, like being an entrepreneur and you started a business, you know, or several businesses, maybe you're trying to grow your net worth and become a millionaire or multimillionaire. A lot of this stuff it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. Some are ultra marathon. The only way you can fail, well, there's two ways. The only way you can fail is, the biggest one is if you quit. If you quit at something, a goal, and just, yeah, I'm not doing it anymore, then, yeah, you've failed, you're unsuccessful at that goal. And then you can start blaming it on whatever. But that's the quitting aspect. The other one is is like, what's the saying, flogging a dead horse, or, you know, if you have got a really bad business idea, a bad business model, for example, or, you know, let's say you're trying to open an ice cream parlour in the middle of the Arctic Circle and there's no one there, well, that business is going to fail. But if you're really passionate about it and you're pumping money into it, I know I'm being absolutely at the other end of the spectrum, but you see where I'm going with this, then it's probably not the best option, you know. And then, but if you keep trying, I watch videos and they say the only time I'll quit is if I fail. Clearly that's an area where you're not going to succeed. But mainly, to be fair, guys, from my experience, and you probably know it yourself, if you reflect on other people, the main one is if somebody just sacks it. If they're just like, no, I'm wrapping it, I've had enough. And then, yeah. Guys, I hope that helps. Again, just to wrap that all up nicely, this is part 2. The first video, as I said, it was very short. I just really wanted to get that out there and then do a deep dive with you today. If there's got any questions, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click like. Let me know your thoughts, any questions below in the comments so I can help you, you know, because my purpose here is really like, you know, my overall why is to help 1 million men, you know, succeed in, whether it's in the military, whether you are in business, an entrepreneur, you know, whatever, you know, it is to give you the mindset hacks, the life tricks, all the things that I've learned in my experience over the last 30 years, and, you know, and some of my failures as well that I'm going to share with you. So don't forget to subscribe, because I am going to share some pretty neat stuff with you over the coming weeks and months, and you don't want to miss it. Okay, guys, That's all for now. Take care. I'll chat soon. Bye.